Welcome back again to Demon of the Week, and this week we are talking about aim. This is spelled A-I-M, sometimes A-Y-M. I actually sometimes like to pronounce this aim. She kind of likes that. Actually, I said she kind of likes that. The funny thing is that every single source that I've come across speaks of aim as being masculine, and for some reason aim comes to me as very, very much feminine. So I think we need to bear that in mind, is that we talk about the appearances of the spirits and the genders of the spirits. They don't have gender and they don't actually have appearance. We either give it to them or they put it on because it's more pleasing for us, so that we can interact better and we can have a better experience, really. So remember that they don't have gender, they don't have appearance, they are just bodies of energy. And the appearance, the gender and everything else is purely really up to us, I think. It's just how we prefer to interact with them. And aim or aim is one of those that appears to me as feminine, just like Lucifer does. All right, let's see, correspondences. This is the 23rd spirit of Goetia, by the way. Correspondences, date is November 2nd to 12th. Direction south. Tarot is 6 of Cups. Planet Venus. Metal copper. Element fire. Color green. Plant, don't have a particular or specific correspondence I could find, but there are some in the other correspondences, so I'll get to that now. Incense is sandalwood. Zodiac is Scorpio, 10 to 20 degrees. Okay, so other correspondences. Lemon, high john root, cinnamon, bay leaf, basil, wormwood, and hawthorn. And aim's N is ayer, avage, secore, aim, or aim. I just like aim. It just sounds better for me. Okay, the Goetia. A very handsome man in body. Not for me, not for everybody, but yeah. So, very handsome man in body, but with 3 heads. The first like a serpent, the second like a man, having 2 stars on his forehead, the third like a calf. He rideth on a viper, carrying a firebrand in his hand, wherewith he setteth cities, castles, and great places on fire. Just take note of the second like a man having 2 stars on his forehead. I'll come back to that just now. Make thee witty in all manner of ways, and giveth true answers unto private matters. I think the one of the interesting aspects here is that the Goetia doesn't actually talk about aim's actual office. Maybe it's an office or an ability or a strength that has come out in more recent times. I don't know, but we'll get to that now. Connolly speaks about it, actually, and there's actually quite a good, if you go to demonsanddemonology.com, it's a site by Satan and Sons, they work with AIM in their cover, and they've got quite a good article about AIM. But Connolly states that AIM is the artist's muse. And that's really it for me. AIM, for me, is very much about inspiration, motivation as well. And it's that fiery aspect of AIM. It's kind of like it creates this driving force and it pushes you with this motivation. And it's that fire. It's like the firecracker under your backside. It gets you going. And at the same time, apart from that driving force and that motivation, there's inspiration for writers, for people, anybody who's in a creative job or creative, their life revolves around creativity. Let's put it that way. Commonly goes on to say, invoke for creative inspiration or to find creative solutions to complex problems. Writers, artists, and musicians should wear the sigil of AIM when working to prevent creative blocks. And it is, again, it comes back to, that even those creative blocks, it's that fiery aspect. it's the fire that removes those blocks. So excellent for creativity, for inspiration, and motivation. That's my consideration of what AIM's focus is, really. And that's not mentioned in the Goetia at all, so I find that quite interesting. The actual representation from the Goetia ritual book, 3 heads represent a trinity of death, but also the paradox of renewal, with the Firebrand becoming an image for a phoenix-like immolation followed by rebirth. Welcomes the consequences of his nemesis with his torch. He burns cities, castles, and other great places, starting avalanches of pain and suffering, loyal to the nightmare of the invocant's voice. So we have that. We do have a destructive aspect here, and it is mostly because of that fiery nature of AIM. But I want to just say, coming back to Jahannam now. Jahannam says Lightbringer and Deathcaller. Okay, now when we're talking about Lightbringer and Deathcaller, I wouldn't say Deathcaller, I would say Nightbringer. So it's Lightbringer and Nightbringer. This is the Lucifer and the Noctifer aspect. And I mentioned earlier, coming back to Goetia, the second head, like a man having 2 stars on his forehead, and these are the 2 stars. So it's the morning star and the evening star. So this is very much tied into to Venus, and AIM's planet is Venus. So I think we can find in AIM quite a bit of knowledge about Lucifer and Noctifer, the morning star and the evening star, specifically relating to the planet Venus. The progression of Venus, the pentagram that is formed in the skies, and all such things. So, if you do want to have a look or venture a bit further into that aspect, into that mythology, into that lore, call on AIM. Jahannam, let's see. Jahannam also goes on to say, grants knowledge of power and initiation, spurns the infantile summoner, as well as those who think they can dissolve their existence after death. So really, AIM doesn't like the know-it-all, the one who thinks that they are all-powerful, starting from the beginner who has just read the first book of magic and now thinks they are the most powerful magician in the world, right through to the person who thinks that they have so much knowledge and power that they can wipe themselves out of existence after death. Those things don't happen unless you become the mighty dead and you don't go back into the cosmic soup, obviously depending on your own beliefs of what happens after we die, and evolution of the soul, etc, etc, etc. Okay, so let's see. He seeks out those who would pursue knowledge of darkness and involve themselves in the dark side of spirituality. I think that's kind of limiting, personally. I think AIM, if we come back to the aspect of Lightbringer and Nightbringer, of not Lucifer and Noctifer, morning star and evening star, there's a lot more to that than just the darkness and the dark aspects of life and magic. A lot more. Imparts creativity, wit, cunningness, shrewdness, and adroitness in deception. Gives insight into the unknown and imparts knowledge of biology. Used in dreamwalking and working with the transpersonal chakras. Okay, so that's AIM. AIM is one of my favorites. I have not worked with AIM as much as I would have liked to. I have worked with AIM quite a bit, but being one of my favorites, I do need to do a lot more work with AIM. Last week we spoke about Ipos. For some reason, Ipos has been off my radar, and I can definitely use Ipos for working on the vocation aspects that I am developing and creating at the moment. So that's why I'm enjoying doing this as well. Things are coming to light. You kind of, I think what we kind of do is we go through things like the Goetia, and we go through the spirits, and we pick the ones that we need at the time, and we do that occasionally every now and again. But once we've picked them, they kind of become favorites, and because so many of them kind of work in the same office and have the same aspects, we pick one, and we kind of forget about the others, because now these have become our favorites. And it's a good idea to keep going back and keep going through them all to find new things, because we change and we evolve, and we grow in our lives, in our magical practice, in everything. So because of those changes that take place, we can find new things every time we go back, every time we go and read through the descriptions and the things that these spirits do, and we keep finding more information here and there. We find that one that we've completely forgotten about or never was on the radar to begin with, all of a sudden has an aspect that we can now use. So it is important to keep going back and keep going over this information over and over again at different stages in our development. So never forget that. And even your practice, it's often a good idea to go right back to the beginning. Start with the basics, the basic meditation, and not even the meditation, just sitting still. Just go right back to the beginning and start there again, and work your way through again, and see, because of new knowledge that you've gained throughout the previous period, you find that going right back to the beginning and starting again and going through all these practices, you recognize something which you've now learned, and you can apply that, whereas you didn't have it before, and it makes all of these practices, even the basic ones, just more enhanced and just so much better. So don't be afraid to start all over again if you have to, if you need to, if you feel you have to. It's very beneficial. All right, I'm going to stop muttering now, and hope you have a good weekend. Cheers for now. Bye bye.